Well, here we go. Anyway, today I decided to put on some makeup while we talk about Richard III. The other last video, once again, I ran out of storage space. Surprise, surprise, mainly because my cat's Sappy. I take a lot of photos of her and videos, and yeah, I'm that crazy cat woman. Anyway, back to Richard III. Where we had left off is basically, his birth. When he was born in 1452, he was one of 11 children. Well, we know what Richard's father, Richard III, Duke of York, and Cecily did on their spare time. But anyway, it was a turbulent time because War of the Roses was going on and everybody was fighting for the crown. Everybody fucking wanted to be king. No surprise there. And I know everybody is probably like, well, somebody's more entitled than another person. But the people that really ought to be on the throne, well, that lineage went a long time ago. With like Harold the First and going back. But we'll talk about Dark Age kings on another day, obviously. So Cecily was his mother. She was French. And his father, we don't know if Richard and his father spent a lot of time together. We know that he was sent to his aunt, whose name was Anne. And she was a duchess, and we know that she took care of him for many years until his father's death in 1460 in the Battle of Wakefield. Now, the thing is, I'm sure it was traumatic, even if he didn't have a close relationship with his father. Even if he didn't, it had to have been traumatic. He's 8 years old. Obviously that's going to have some sort of effect. And being constantly surrounded by warring factions and not knowing what's going to happen, because even if you're a little kid back then, you got to know the tension. You got to know that you could be killed. You could be next. You don't know what's going to happen. Because back in that day and age, a lot of times, whole families would be obliterated. Just fuck off. Bleh, So, I'm sure he did have a lot of stress about that, obviously. He was then sent to, God damn it, I can't remember, but the countryside, after his father was killed, and his older brother also was killed in the same battle, the Wakefield battle. So he really didn't get to spend a lot of time with like his mother or, even his father when his father was alive. So I'm sure a lot of his raising was done by either teachers or church members or, whoever. Because all royal, especially males back then, had to be highly educated. They had to learn several different languages, although most likely from an early age, I'm assuming he was already fluent with French and English, considering the long Norman lineage. If you think about it, in the time of Edward II, only French was spoken at court. They didn't even care about speaking English. They're like, Ned, fuck the English. We took over, So, there you go. So, with his, aunt, the, Duchess of Buckingham, he had stayed there, till 1459. Him and his little brother, George. And basically, when his father died, that's when, like I said, in 1460, that's when his mother decided to send him to the countryside. And I'm assuming that, in this time being, he was learning and studying, and his brother Edward was being more and more groomed to try to take over the throne, which later, of course, did happen. This is it for part 4. I'm going to do a little bit more later. We'll see how this goes.